Hi everyone, and welcome to the Target 25 Part 5 homework review. So as always, Part 5 homework review is going to link up with the skills that we introduced in the Part 5 notes video, and also it's going to go over three specific problems from the Part 5 worksheet. And so those three problems today are going to be number 1, number 3, and number 6. And so hopefully if you still need a little bit more guidance, a little bit more help with this, part of this learning target, hopefully this will help get you in the right direction here. So let's just start and let's go ahead. So today, part 5 is all about finding the volume of pyramids and cones, volume of pyramids and cones. And so everything today is going to deal with the equation volume equals area of the base times height divided by 3. Area of the base times height divided by 3. And so let's just get straight to it. In this first example, this is a cone. We need to know that because we need to talk about the base. The base is a circle, right? And so if I draw this circle here, I can tell that my circle has a radius of 5. And it's huge to identify, right, the base because we need to find the area of the base. That's what big B is. And the area of a circle, pi r squared. And so since r is 5, big B in this example was pi times 5 squared. And pi times 5 squared equals, clear this, second pi, parentheses 5 parentheses, and squared. Pi times 5 squared is 78.5. So our big B is 78.5 in this example, right? And so we're going to need to use that in a second. Now, we also have to do one more thing to work here, right? We need H. So we need big B, which we have, and we need H as well. Now, the problem is this 8 over here, which looks like it might be H, is the slanted height, right? That is the distance along this slanted side of our cone. We don't want the slant height for volume. We did for surface area, but we don't want that for volume. We want the straight up and down height. So the straight up and down height would be like this dotted green line down into the center of that circle, right? That's what our big H is. And so we're going to need to do the Pythagorean theorem. Notice, right, when I drew those lines in, that made a triangle and a right triangle nonetheless. And so we're going to do the Pythagorean theorem to figure out what H is. And so C is where our 8 is. And so the Pythagorean theorem would be H squared plus 5 squared equals 8 squared. And so let's keep working through this. H squared plus 25 equals 64. And we'll subtract 25 from both sides. So H squared equals 39. And then we will take the square root of both sides. The square root of 39 equals roughly 6.2. So 6.2 is our big H. 78.5 is our big B. And so now we can find the volume, right? Big B times H divided by 3. So big B, 78.5. H is 6.2. And always remember to divide by 3. So 78.5 times 6.2 divided by 3. So there's 78.5. Now we'll times it by 6.2. And then, of course, we have to divide by 3 as the last step. And we are given 162.3. 162.3. Now, remember, these need units. It's looking like centimeters. And for volume, it is to the third power. So 162.3 centimeters cubed. All right, let's move on. This next one. Notice it says equilateral base, so that is extremely important. It says find the volume of the solid. This is, if you look down at the bottom shape here, that's a triangle. So this is a triangular pyramid, right? Triangular pyramid. And so we need to find the area of that base, times it by the height of the pyramid, and we'll divide by 3 and we've got it. So I'm going to draw the triangle. We'll kind of draw it how you see it. So boom. We know this side's 5. Now this is where the equilateral base comes into play. Equilateral means all 3 sides are the same, right? And so if one side's 5, this side's 5, and that side's 5. Now that's great. One of those sides, remember we need to find the area of this base. So area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So one of those 5s can be considered our base. That's great, but what's the height of this triangle? Remember, that's what we find when we draw this dashed line in from one of the tips into the center of one of the other bases. It makes a right triangle. It cuts our base in half. So half of 5 is 2.5. So I know both sides of that are 2.5. And that line itself, that's my h. It'll be little h this time. That's my h. And so then if I like focus on this triangle here, right, and it'll kind of look like this, with this being h, top being 2.5, this being 5, right, and here's my right angle. Across from it is always c. I can do Pythagorean theorem here. And so it'll be h squared plus 2.5 squared equals 5 squared. So let's solve this. H squared plus and 2.5 squared is 6.25. And 5 squared is 25. We'll subtract 6.25 from both sides. And so h squared will equal 18.75. And then we will take the square root of that. So h will equal the square root of 18.75. Let's figure that out. Clear this. Second square root, 18.75. That equals 4.3. 4.3. All right. Now, remember, that's just the height of our triangle. But now we can figure out big B based off of that, because our big B, remember, one of the 5s is our base. And so it'll be 5 times. And then the h we just found is 4.3. And then we'll divide it by 2. Remember, what we're trying to do right now is find the area of this triangle, because this is the base of our triangular pyramid. And this is what big B will be. So 5 times 4.3 divided by 2. So I'll do 5 times, and then that 4.3 up there is the one I want, so I'll hit enter on it, equals, and then I got to remember to divide by 2. And so the area of that triangle is 10.8 roughly. 10.8. So this is big B. Now, the nice thing in this example is we already have h. See this 9? And it's just going straight up and down. Straight up and down, right? And that's exactly what we need for our height. So that is our big H is 9. So we are all set to find the volume here. Remember, volume equals big B times big H divided by 3 for pyramids. So big B, 10.8. Big H, 9. And then divide by 3. So 10.8 times 9 divided by 3. Let's grab the calculator. So that's our 10.8 right there. We'll times it by 9. And then we've got to divide by 3. And we get 32.5 roughly. 32.5 after rounding. 32.5. Remember, this is volume. So inches cubed. Inches to the 3rd power. That is the final answer there. All right, one more problem left. This time we're going to work backwards. Notice we want to solve for x. We are given some information about our base, and we are given what our overall volume is. And notice this x is the straight up and down height, right? And so x is what our h is, our big H, in our volume formula. So remember, volume formula for a pyramid is going to be volume equals big B times big H divided by 3. We have volume, that is 1,521. We have h, kind of, right? We know that that's what x is, so we'll be able to solve for that. And now we need to worry about what big B is, and then we'll be able to solve for that x. Now, remember, big B is the area of the base. Here's our base, and I know this is 13 and this is 13. So, by the way, this is a square pyramid, right? Which is important, because big B is going to be the area of that base, which is a square. And so big B is going to equal 13 times 13, which is 169. 169. And so let's start plugging things in, right, to this formula up here. I know the volume. It is 1,521, and it equals big B times H. Again, big B is 169 times, and we'll just say x, right? Because we're solving for x, and that's what h is. And then divide by 3. And so just like in the other versions of this problem, let's times both sides by 3. We'll cancel this fraction. That'll go away. So on the right side, we are still left with what was on top, 169x. But then on the left, we'll do 3 times 1,521. 3 times 1,521. That equals 4,563. And so then the last step to get x by itself is just divide both sides by 169. And that'll cancel, and it'll leave us with x, and it'll equal whatever 4,563 divided by 169 is. So we've got 4,563, type in 169, and that equals 27. 27. And it looks like centimeters are the units here, so centimeters. And that is saying that x is 27 centimeters, which, remember, x represented the height of our pyramid. So the height of this square pyramid is 27 centimeters. All right, and that is it. So I hope that helps, and I hope it guides you a little bit more into the skills that we introduced here in Target Part 5, or Target 25, Part 5. If you still have questions, please reach out to me, email me, pop into our Google Meets, whatever is most convenient for you. I'll be there to help. But thank you very much for your hard work. Let's keep reviewing, let's keep practicing, and let's finish strong. You have done a great job all trimester, and I really appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much.